Mohon tidak perlu mute original audio dan tidak perlu pindah channel saat berbicara. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are accessing the Zoom using a laptop or a PC, simultaneous interpretation services are available. You can go to the bottom right of your screen. There you will find globe icon or language interpretation button. Click it and select the language that you wish to listen. We recommend you to not mute original audio. And if you would like to speak, you don't have to turn off the interpretation button as well. Bila Bapak atau Ibu mengakses meeting kali ini menggunakan handphone atau mobile phone, fitur penerjemahan secara simultan juga tersedia. Bila Bapak atau Ibu pojok kanan bawah, akan ada 3 titik. Jika diklik akan ada language interpretation. Lalu klik, pilih bahasa yang Bapak atau Ibu ingin dengarkan, dan tidak perlu mute original audio, dan terakhir, jangan lupa klik down bila sudah selesai. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are accessing the Zoom using a mobile phone, simultaneous interpretation services are available. You can go to the bottom right of your screen. There you will find 3 dots. Click it, and click language interpretation, and select the language that you wish to listen. We also recommend you to not mute original audio, and don't forget to click done when you have selected. Have a productive meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would like to mention that for this meeting, we are not also only translation service, but we also have sign language as we aim at distributing this the webinar recordings to a wider audience. So, juru bahasa isyarat tersedia juga. I will speak today in English, but in between I may switch to bahasa. If you later have questions, kalau ada komentar silakan pakai bahasa Inggris atau bahasa Indonesia. Please use English, bahasa sama aja. Before I will to introduce our 4 guests, I would like to give the floor kepada Pak Ahmad Dading, Direktur Bappenas yang sangat banyak bantu pada organisasi event ini. Beliau adalah penjaga gawang proyek ini dan sudah banyak bantu. Pak Dading, silakan. Maybe some welcoming words.
Baik, terima kasih banyak Pak Henry atas kesempatannya. Yang terhormat tentu Ibu Marika Jakas atas kehadirannya di dalam acara ini. Kemudian juga para speaker yang sudah hadir di kesempatan ini, saya sangat-sangat mengucapkan banyak terima kasih. Kemudian juga tim Arise Plus yang sudah hadir, dan Pak Mak juga sudah hadir. Terima kasih banyak Pak Mak hadir di dalam acara ini. Ini adalah persiapan yang cukup panjang dengan Pak Henry dan akhirnya bisa terlaksana pada hari ini. Bekerja sama antara pemerintah Indonesia dengan kerjasama dengan Eropa, tim Uni Eropa dalam kerangka Rise Plus. Dan dari kami tentu sangat senang sekali dari Bappenas dapat menyelenggarakan ini bersama-sama. Kemudian juga kepada para peserta dari kementerian lembaga, dari pemerintah daerah, asosiasi, para pengusaha, kami ucapkan terima kasih. Selamat siang dan Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Jadi kita alami bahwa UMKM saat ini terkena dampak yang luar biasa. Di bahan baku sangat terasa mereka kesulitan, kemudian juga di cash flow-nya juga sangat tertekan, kemudian juga di pembiayaan, dan di pasar, terutama nanti kita akan bahas pasar. Banyak UMKM yang terkena dampak dari penurunan pasar karena memang perubahan di pasar. Dan juga ada beberapa tapi yang tetap mempertahankan market, baik di lokal ataupun di luar negeri. Ini juga ada beberapa dijadikan best practice, bahwa tidak semua terkena dampak yang negatif dari pandemi ini. Kemudian, di dalam kerangka perencanaan nasional, kita mengenal rencana pembangunan jangka menengah periode 2020-2024, kita sudah merencanakan Mayor Project untuk pengolahan UMKM terpadu. Nah, di dalam Mayor Project ini, pendekatan yang dilakukan adalah rantai nilai atau keterkaitan antara hulu dan hilirnya. Yang diutamakan pendekatan pertama adalah kita mengetahui dulu pasarnya. Kemudian kita mencari identifikasi mengenai potensi produk ataupun potensi UMKM yang bisa menjadi bagian dari rantai nilai. Ya. Jadi di dalam seminar ini kita ingin menggali potensi market, potensi yang ada di hilir, sehingga UMKM atau produk yang bisa menjadi bagian dari rantai nilai itu bisa terjalin dengan baik. Karena kita menginginkan rantai nilai tidak hanya rantai nilai sampai ke lokal market, tetapi tentu adalah ekspor tujuannya. Kami harapkan dari sini harga yang diperoleh petani adalah, atau harga yang diperoleh UMKM, pada hari ini kita bicara mengenai furniture, harga yang diperoleh furniture itu sangat baik, sehingga pendapatan mereka juga baik. Begitu. Kemudian selain produk yang bisa dipasarkan di luar negeri, kami juga menginginkan banyak lagi UMKM sebagai eksportir. Tidak hanya nantinya bagian rantai nilai saja, mungkin awalnya bagian rantai nilai, tetapi nanti akan naik kelas menjadi eksportir. Nah, ini dengan seminar ini kita akan coba memperkuat hubungan antara buyer, kemudian juga mungkin nanti ada penjual. Saya yakin di sini sudah hadir banyak para UMKM sebagai bagian dari yang memproduksi nanti barang-barang yang bisa dipasarkan di Eropa. Sebagai webinar ini kita tujuannya Eropa. Dan saya yakin juga di tempat lain ada, tetapi kebetulan di sini kita khusus mendatangkan para buyer dari Eropa, sehingga ini menjadi potensi yang dapat dimanfaatkan oleh UMKM. Terkait dengan buyer project yang tadi saya sampaikan, jadi pendekatannya adalah bisnis to bisnis, jadi ada keterkaitan tadi rantai nilai antara UMKM dengan buyer di dalam atau di luar negeri, kemudian juga dari pemerintah. Beberapa kementerian lembaga sudah siap mendukung proses integrasi dari hulu ke hilir ini, mulai dari bahan baku, dari produksi, kemudian dari pemasaran, pembiayaan. Kementerian lembaga sudah teridentifikasi akan mendukung buyer project ini. Sehingga seminar ini adalah salah satu untuk memperkuat ujungnya, hilirnya. Nanti kita akan juga membangun di bagian hulunya, di bahan baku ataupun di proses produksinya. Oleh karena itu mohon kepada terutama juga UMKM yang hadir di sini atau asosiasi atau kementerian lembaga nanti dapat memanfaatkan peluang ini dan nanti berpartisipasi di dalam proses untuk rantai nilai ataupun nanti komunikasi atau ekspor langsung dengan para buyer di dalam atau di luar negeri. Demikian yang bisa saya sampaikan, mudah-mudahan webinar ini juga memberikan manfaat untuk kita semua dan khususnya bagi kami di dalam nanti merancang buyer project yang sudah ada di dalam dokumen perencanaan. Terima kasih, saya akhiri dengan wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, selamat siang dan selamat mengikuti webinar. Kami kembalikan ke Pak Henry.
Terima kasih banyak Pak Dading. Pak Dading, you interestingly stressed the importance of mutually beneficial relations. So, your project is very much aimed at strengthening long-term collaboration between, on the one hand, European buyers, and the other hand, small enterprises. So it's not just buying projects, but also investing in innovation, investing in the workforce, and upgrading the workforce. Thank you very much. Makasih banyak, Pak. I would now like to give the floor to Ibu Marika Yarkas, who is the head of the Trade and Economic Section of the EU delegation in Jakarta. Ibu Marika, please.
Thank you very much. Terima kasih, Pak Henry. Pak Ahmad Dading Gunadi, thank you very much for your welcoming remarks. Very much appreciated. I would like to also greet Mark there, Mark Vaipun, who is the team leader of the Rise Plus Indonesia project. And all the representatives of the Indonesian ministries, of course, who are present here today, agencies, business associations, businesses, ladies and gentlemen. Selamat siang, hello everybody. It's really a great pleasure for me to represent the EU, the European Union, in this event today. It's a webinar with the Indonesian and European furniture businesses, and it's jointly organized by Bapenas and the EU-funded Arise Plus program. The EU has been a strong and committed partner to Indonesia for over 30 years already, in a wide range of areas, and of course, in particular, one of them, important one, is trade and investments. And while the COVID-19 pandemic has heavily affected our bilateral trade flows, in particular in the last year, Indonesia remains still our 5th largest trading partner in ASEAN. And in 2020, the total trade in goods between our two economies, Indonesia and the EU, reached 20.6 billion euro, with a trade balance in Indonesia's favor. The EU is also a top non-Asian investor in the area in Indonesia, with foreign direct investment stocks at 25.7 billion euro, according to Eurostat, in 2019. We have around 1,100 European companies who have invested in Indonesia, providing employment to 1.1 million Indonesians, in particular in sectors with high value added products, for example, chemicals, pharmaceuticals, transport, storage, communication technology, and more also in green technologies. In view of the size of our economies, however, both our trade and investments are actually far below their true potential. We could trade much more with Indonesia in both ways. Our economic ties will be strengthened by the conclusion of the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, the SEPA, as I'm sure that you may all have heard or read about. We are now currently negotiating that with Indonesia. The SEPA will boost overall trade and investments and promote a sustainable relationship in economic, social, and environmental terms as well. More importantly, SEPA will contribute to Indonesia's and the EU's economic recovery from the COVID-19 crisis. It's an important element in that. So far, the progress has been steady in the negotiations, although we could try to move a little bit faster. We have now had 10 full negotiation rounds, and we are heading for the 11th still soon, hopefully, when the COVID-19 crisis loosens a little bit, hopefully, here in Indonesia. When it comes to Indonesian exports to the EU, a single market of 27 EU member states, Indonesian exporters benefit from significant tariff reductions once the Indonesia-EU SEPA has been concluded. And almost all the customs duties will be abolished when we start to implement it from day one. And this, of course, will be welcome news for all exporters, but in particular for SMEs. There will also be specific provisions in SEPA to make it easier for SMEs to make use of the lower tariffs. So we will inform them of how to make use of the tariffs, what they need to do to benefit from the agreement. Then a few words perhaps about the Arise Plus project as well. It's a 5-year program, Arise Plus Indonesia, designed to reflect our common interest to further develop our trade and investment relations. It has an envelope of 15 million euro, which is equivalent to 230 billion rupiah. So quite a big project. It aims at contributing to Indonesia's enhanced competitiveness, to integrate into global value chains through specific support at national and subnational level. By enhancing Indonesia's trade competitiveness and international openness, this program will promote inclusive and sustainable economic growth in Indonesia. And among the key results to be achieved by this program is the improved awareness and knowledge of the domestic industry, including SMEs, in participating in global value chains. Therefore, the program has developed a series of activities that support and engage with the leading private sector representatives, sectoral associations, local and bilateral chambers of commerce, and other players. And today's webinar is really a concrete action that demonstrates how Arise Plus Indonesia supports business communities, especially SME exporters, through close cooperation with the government program for SME. And I was also glad to learn that Arise Plus Indonesia and Bappenas will organize a webinar series in the upcoming months that will focus on 4 key SME clusters, which are patchouli oils, coffee, biopharma products, and coconut products. So I'm looking forward to hopefully attending those as well. Arise Plus Indonesia is designed as a country-level trade-related assistance project closely aligned with the regional perspective of ASEAN. The program activities foresee some interventions that are closely linked to the activities implemented under the Arise Plus regional program to support the regional integration in ASEAN. These activities will help improving SMEs' participation in global value chains and enhance the alignment of national regulations and standards at regional and global level. And in view of the ongoing SEPA negotiations, Arise Plus Indonesia also offers flexibility to respond to issues which emerge from the negotiations or impediments in the bilateral trade relations through what we call a rapid response facility. The assistance encompasses all key areas in the negotiations, and it focuses on capacity building to relevant Indonesian ministries and agencies by funding expertise, knowledge, sharing activities, as well as dissemination and communication on the SEPA at different levels and different regions. The valuable capacity building offered by the Arise Plus program thus supports the SEPA negotiation process. So these are very complementary what we do. So in conclusion, Indonesia has an enormous potential to improve its trade performance and competitiveness in the global market, as well as to step up further unlocking of its potential for growth in its trade and investment relations with the EU. We also firmly believe that open and fair trade are key drivers of job creation and economic growth, especially for SMEs. And here I would like to mention that and stress that imposing restrictions of raw materials at the detriment of businesses in other countries is not the way to go. There I learned that Indonesia has imposed an export ban on raw rattan since 2011 by a Ministry of Trade and Innovation. And this is something that we have been discussing with the Indonesian government over the last years, and we hope to find a solution very soon as well. And with the SEPA, we will promote a more predictable business environment, remove trade barriers, open up more sectors for foreign direct investment, and improve Indonesia's competitiveness and integration into global value chains. So in conclusion, SEPA will be an important driver of economic growth and contribute to Indonesia's aspiration of reaching upper middle class income status in the near future. And last but not least, it will also bring Indonesia and EU closer to each other. Trading together inevitably creates bonds. As the current bilateral trade and investment levels stand much too low, we hope that projects like the Arise Plus Indonesia can further boost our trade and investment relations, and helped by events like this today. So I wish you all a very successful and fruitful discussion today, and thank you a lot for your attention and for inviting me to the event. Terima kasih banyak.
Terima kasih banyak, Bu Marika. Very nice that you can join us today. I would now like to introduce our 4 guests. And I've been thinking what's the best way to introduce them. And we will show some products that they make. And then I invite our guests to explain a little bit about themselves and a little bit about the products and a little bit about that trade in Indonesia. I thought that's a nice way to kick off our discussion. And I now kindly ask Bumaya to share the PowerPoint. Bumaya, are you there? Okay, maybe the next slide, Bumaya. Okay, first company I would like to introduce is a company from the Netherlands. It's called Java Meubel. And may I invite Bu Astrid or Pak Taufik to explain a little bit about the products that we see on this photo and a little bit about your company. Bu Astrid or Pak Taufik, silakan.
Selamat pagi, Pak Henry.
Ya, Pak Taufik ya.
Selamat sore, Pak Henry, di Indonesia.
Selamat sore.
Halo, Pak.
Selamat sore, Pak Taufik. Silakan.
Ya, selamat sore, Pak Henry.
Ya.
Terutama saya juga ingin mengenalkan diri. Saya bersama istri saya di Nederland dan juga untuk mengembangkan usaha yang ada di produk. Sama Astrid berdua, jadi saya istri saya, dan dengan senang hati saya sudah bisa berkomunikasi dengan Pak Henry dan juga para lain, dan ya sangat bisa mengenalkan produk hasil Indonesia juga. Ya, Mas ya.
Bisa sedikit jelaskan perusahaan Bapak di mana, terus sering ke Indonesia atau bagaimana?
Oke, perusahaan saya saya punya referensi di Jepara, dan saya mulai berdiri Jawa Mebel dari 2006. Dan saya juga sama istri tertarik dengan adanya untuk memproduk hasil karya Indonesia, dan dengan hasil ukiran saya lebih menarik untuk melestarikan budaya Indonesia. Jadi keinginan saya sama istri untuk ada tali hubungan di antara dua satu sama lain di antara negara tersebut itu. Jadi masih bersambung. Saya hanya bisa memproduk dari sejarah.
Nah, ini istri saya,
Pak Henry.
Okay, good morning. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, can hear you very well, Bu Astrid.
Okay, well, I'm Astrid and I'm the co-owner of Java Meubel, and my husband Taufik Madja here from Jakarta just introduced our company. I went to Indonesia in 2001. I fell in love with the country, with the food, with my husband, with cats, and also furniture. And I was on my Bulan Madu with Taufik on Bali, and I saw and I said, sleep in this. He looked at me and goes get the lead. No way. When a woman Europe something, probably a woman in the world, she gets her way. So the canopy arrived in Holland, my husband as well, and many people came to our home because he's a carpenter maker, and they spotted this beautiful canopy from Bali. And we got so many compliments. So after a few times, we thought maybe we should try an import. So we started our adventure in Yogyakarta in 2006. And we knew very, very dimensions were wrong, colors were wrong, the designs were not done agreement. So in 2010, I think, I said I want to quit this game because it's out of my control. I live 12,000 kilometers further. And then Taufik said, no, let us start our own company. And then we have it in our own hands. It took us 3 years to start, to get all the permits, to get all the licenses, to get you. I couldn't believe it. In Holland, you just go to the Chamber of Commerce, you pay a couple of euros and you get started. But in Indonesia, it's a different ball game. It took us 3 years. Once we started, I noticed and encountered so many more problems, but we tried to stay optimistic. The profit is very, very slim, but there's so much more for us than just trying to get profit. Means for my husband that he can maintain an economic sambungan with his country, and we definitely welcome yes, loosening of all the regulations. And I can share so many of our questions, but I will invite us too long already. I hope this was enough introduction for us.
Thank you, Bu Astrid. I would like to move on. Your connection is not optimal, so maybe there's something you can do about your voice sometimes breaks. But I would now like to go to the next slide. Bu Maya, the next slide, please. And this is products of EPOS Furniture that is run by Egbert Pas, who is a long-term resident in Jepara. Pa Egbert, can I invite you to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your company and these products? Pa Egbert, please.
Okay, sure you can. Nice to meet you all. I'm Egbert Pas. I'm in Jepara since 1990 and running my PMA since 1997. You could almost call me the grandfather of many styles around here. We started up with old tables. Then we started copying those tables. I made the first knockdown dirty tables. So on. We changed it into colonial style. We used to always have a wholesale in Holland. And slowly, it was a bit hard to control both the companies. So I had to close the Dutch side of the business because I basically liked it here more, the living style and the way of living. So then I start focusing on a bit my own designs, which ended up in projects and custom-made furniture for hotels, for projects. Basically because of the COVID, that all ended. I did have about 6 projects which just have been cancelled. So I'm still a little bit back on my feet, starting with some new ideas and go back in production of furniture.
Okay, thank you for your introduction, Egbert. Maya, let's go to the next slide. And this is Makassi Import. I think it's from the word terima kasih. Yeah? And then Unsworth. Can I invite you to introduce yourself and your company?
Hello, everyone. Yeah, thank you for inviting me, Henry, and thank you, everyone else. My name's Dan Unsworth from Makassi Imports Limited in the UK. We're a wholesaler that sells to garden centres, retail shops, some online retailers in the UK. I've been travelling to Indonesia, I think, for 25 years now, 24 years. And it's sort of changed a bit over the years. For the first 5 years, I worked for a garden furniture company. And then after that, I set up my own business and started wholesaling to UK trade. Yeah, our product is quite a specialist product with the sort of driftwood theme with the teak root. Well, 90% of the products we sell are made from teak root, which goes really well for us in the UK. Yeah, what was I going to say? I haven't got. Yeah. Sorry, that's about it, really. Cheers.
Okay, thanks. We'll definitely come back to you later. Mamaya, the next and final slide. This is Homes Direct 365, also in the UK, and we're happy that Carl Ward, one of the business partners, is joining us this morning. This afternoon, in fact, in Jakarta. Carl, can I invite you?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for inviting me to this meeting. It's a pleasure. So I'm Carl Ward from a company called Homes Direct 365. We are a retail online furniture company in the UK. We started around about 20 years ago, 2001, 2002-ish. We started from using suppliers in the UK, then we'd realised what was selling well, and then moving on to selling that, going into Asia and getting our own products. We're currently got a turnover of about £11 million a year, 40 staff, roughly around about 200 containers a year coming into the warehouse. So we've gone from strength to strength. Obviously, Indonesia is one of our big destinations, obviously, where we bring the furniture in from, especially the French style furniture, and that's mainly where the business was focused on at the start. Now we've moved on to more contemporary stuff, and yeah, it's pretty busy. We're hoping that obviously it continues. We know Dan ourselves. We obviously work alongside him buying his furniture, which is also good. So yeah, that's a little bit about the company. That's all it is.
Thank you, Carl. I'm very happy that this meeting is also joined by the Indonesian trade representatives in both the Netherlands and in the United Kingdom. I would like to ask first Pak Sabat, who is the trade attaché in the Netherlands. What are you currently doing to promote the furniture industry, export of furniture to the Netherlands? Pak Sabat, can I give you the floor?
Thank you, Pak Henry. I'm sorry I'm a bit late to join this webinar held by Arise Plus. Thank you so much, Ibu. I'm sorry I haven't got your name yet because I joined quite late from Java Mebel. Actually, I have met some Indonesian furniture importers here in the Netherlands, but I don't have the chance yet to meet a Java Mebel. Maybe after this, I can get your contact and then we can have some discussion, because I heard briefly that you experienced some problems importing Indonesian products, furniture products from Indonesia. But actually, my job here is to promote not only furniture, but many Indonesian products. We have a coffee event inviting Indonesian farmers to send their samples, and then we will have a cupping in the Netherlands here, inviting baristas, coffee shop owners also, and coffee importers. Also, I'm planning next year, if already allowed by the Dutch government, to follow some exhibition. If you have some information about furniture exhibition in the Netherlands for next year, maybe we can also collaborate in promoting Indonesian furniture in the Netherlands market. I think that's all for now, Mr. Henry. I'm looking forward to discuss with Java Mabel on some cooperation we can have in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you. Terima kasih banyak Pak Sabat. Kawan lama juga. Atas from the United Kingdom. Sorry, I forgot his name. Do you know Pak Sabat?
Mr. Rizalu?
Yeah, Rizal. Pak Rizal, you're here with us, yeah, Pak Rizal?
Hello, good morning and good afternoon, Pak Henry. I'm so disappointed that you forget my name. Come on.
Lupa, sudah tua.
No, it's fine. Yeah, thank you for inviting me, Pak Henry, and also Pak Ahmad Dading Gunadi from Bappenas and also from Arise. So my name is Rizalu. I'm the trade attaché here in the Indonesian Embassy in London. And I'm so lucky because I know Daniel Answorth from Makassi Import. He's one of the quite loyal and big importers for the Indonesian furniture into the UK. And also I met with one of your colleague, Carl, John, if I'm not mistaken, from Home
Yes,
Direct.
correct.
Yeah. So yeah, actually my tenure here in the UK is like my only goal here is to promote the Indonesian products, not only furniture but also, as well as the other products. So, but focus on furnitures. I would like also to further collaborate more with the Indonesian exporters as well as with the UK's importers to promote the Indonesian furniture in the UK. So I hope next year when the COVID is already, probably it's already, I'm not confident that we have to say it's finished, but it's getting better for us to have some kind of, the trade exhibitions for the furnitures in the UK. So I'm looking forward to collaborate more with Dan and also Carl to promote the Indonesian furniture in the UK. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pak Rizalo. And sorry very much for forgetting your name.
No problem, Henry. Just kidding.
I would like to invite a few others first to introduce themselves and maybe explain a little bit about the challenges they're facing when exporting furniture to the European Union and other countries in Europe. For example, I'm now looking at my list. Ibu Dika Rina Kuki, who is from the CBI, the Import Promotion Center in the Netherlands. Can I invite you to explain a little bit about challenges that you are facing when you try to promote imports from Indonesia and into the Netherlands? Ibu.
Okay, thank you, Pak Henry. I'm surprised that I will be asked to say something. Thank you. Yeah, I'm Dika Rina Kuki. I'm the local coordinating expert of CBI, the Netherlands. CBI is in Dutch. I cannot even spelling it, but in English we can say that the CBI is the Center of the Promotion of Import from Developing Countries. We are working in 49 countries all over the world, and one of activities in Indonesia. But in Indonesia, we are working in two programs actually, in natural ingredients and home decoration. So it's not really kind of furniture, but because in the home decoration that we are working is including the small wooden furniture. So that's why I'm interested in this webinar and joining this. I think some problem that faced with for exporting furniture to EU is one is of course we still have an issue of the certification. Yeah, even though we are glad that the SVLK, our certification for wood, is already kind of equal with the FLEGT, so we don't have to do twice certification. But still, it becomes one of challenge for the companies because it's also they need to pay a certain cost on that. And the other thing is I think it's also about the buyer understanding. Yeah, this is also something important. Yeah, most of the companies in Indonesia is not really doing their market research well. So sometimes they are just trying to find the buyer, but they are not thinking more about what type of buyer that actually will be fit with their product. So sometimes they are not get the right buyer, or maybe cannot find the right buyer. The other thing now, because of COVID, I think the biggest problem is the transportation, yeah, the logistic problem, yeah. It's really difficult to find an empty container, and you maybe can imagine that the cost of the container to go to AU is kind of 4 or 5 double, and I think in some months ago it's kind of 10 times than it's usual, than the usual cost. And also for the, if we are going to the through air, the cost is now 3 to 4 times compared to before. Yes, this is I think the main problem that we face now, even though we are trying to talk to also the Chamber of Commerce of Indonesia and try to approach also the Ministry of Trade, but it's still a problem for us. I think that is Pak Henry. Thank you for the opportunity to say something here.
Thank you very much. There are 2 issues that you raised that I think it will be good if we can ask that to our 4 guests. Certification, is that an issue? And container prices, what are your experiences, and does it impact on your business? May I start with Carl? Certification and containers.
Yeah, certification, I think we don't really have an issue with it. It's not that much of an issue at times. You have license here and there, but apart from that, I think the factories we work with are pretty on the ball with sorting the paperwork side out of it all. But the container prices is serious problem at the moment. If it doesn't obviously sort itself out, then I don't believe no one will be importing, obviously, or exporting out of the Indonesia. It's crazy, and it seriously needs to get sorted fast. Obviously, we're a company that's done rather well in the past years, and we've got good cash reserves, but that won't last forever. And at the moment, I believe we're probably running on losing money, or just covering costs, which, you know, I'm not there just to cover costs. I'm there to be making money. Unfortunately, it's where I started the business, and if it doesn't come down, then we've all, well, everyone's got issues, from the factories, you know, down to ourselves. Obviously, we've got 40 staff working for us. Obviously, we've got to pay for massive advertising fees through Google. It seems like a lot of money's getting passed from hand to hand, but really, there's only a small bit comes out at the end. So for us to keep this up, it's a task in itself. I mean, Dan will probably say, I mean, at the minute, I think we've put about 15% across our goods, but then has a knock-on effect of the goods slowing down in sales. So you sort of caught in a rock and a hard stone. If you put your prices up too much, you lose your sales. So we're a bit in a sticky situation, which needs to be resolved pretty fast.
Great, thanks. Egbert, about certification and container prices, what is your opinion?
Certification, as in, well, container prices, I got something to say. I did develop a new way of packing, sustainable, based on natural fibers. which would take up, compared to the normal use styrofoam, depends on the size of the item, would reduce the volume from 10 till 30%. And it's all sustainable. So I'm looking forward to introduce that to the market.
Thank you. So as we discussed a few days ago, you may have some suggestions on how to lower, in fact, the cost of transport, yeah?
Well, if I can start up my packing, then for sure the volume will be smaller. So automatically you get more items in the container, which will reduce the value.
Okay. Yes, we discussed it before, and definitely we like to pick it up in a follow-up meeting. What about certification, Ahmed? Any issue with that?
The SVLK, I think, that's what you mean with certification, or not?
Fee legal, for example.
I think it's not a fair way of, you know, a small company pays basically the same as a big company.
Yeah, that's right.
So I had to give up my SVLK because simply couldn't afford it last year. So basically, I would think if you export 200 containers or 15 containers or whatever, the cost should be related to your export, not related to the cost of an audit. I think that would help a lot of small companies.
Okay, that's a very important point you make, and maybe we can pick it up later. I would like to go to Astrid and Pat Taufik. What about certification and container prices? What are your experiences?
Well, you can't see me, can you?
I can see you very well.
Oh, you can. Okay, great. Well, I very much agree with Egbert, because, you know, we only import three containers every 2 years. And that's it. Because the products that we make are all one of a kind. It's been designed by customers in Holland and then by us, of course. So every single product in the container is a unique item. So it takes a long time. So our volume is 3 times the 20 feet, not even 40 per 2 years. Now the audit is incredibly expensive for us. We pay about 20 to 25 million rupiahs. And I have complained about this from the very start, because like Egbert, I kept saying, it's not fair, it's not justified to burden a really small company with a flat rate. Because I know other participants in this trade in Japara, and they export like 200 or maybe even 300 containers a year. So then it's okay. So I am up for an audit in December, and we strongly think about giving up our certification. So what does that mean? That means that if we still want to export, we have to borrow a license, which we can for 5 million or $500. But it also means that it's not legal, is it? Because how can they get what we call it, the fee legal, which is that unique number of every container? How can pay €100 or dollar? So it means that is much. I don't know. My cargo person in Semarang says we can get your container out. So that means that I pay $500 instead of the very expensive audit. There's another problem. We have not been exporting for over a year due to the COVID. You know what happened to our NIP, which is a very strong export license, and we went through so much trouble getting it. It was blocked.
Yes.
And it was blocked because we had not been active for 12 months.
Yeah.
It took us, I think, 4 to 5 weeks through the one system only, or this OSS in Indonesia, to unblock it 5 weeks with lots of frustration. So I said to my husband, how do they expect us to continue doing it, you know, the way that the Indonesian government wants us to do it? Better off forget about this whole nonsense. Let's just borrow the license for $500 and saya tidak pusing terus.
Yeah,
but
that's right.
to be honest, I would like to do it properly. I would like to be a certificate or certified company, even though I'm really small. Do you know what I mean? I like to do it by the book, but the rules and regulations are too stiff for small companies such as ours. Sorry, I took up a lot of your time.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Bu Astrid. I'm now looking at the list of participants, and I see there is Bu Pak Rozak of the Industrial Office in Semarang. Are you there? Ada. Pak Rozak atau Bu Rozak hadir dari Semarang. Kabur mungkin. Okay. Then I would like to go to Pak Dan. What is your views on the certification and container prices? Please.
Hello again, everyone. My views on the certification is, I think going to what Astrid was saying, I think the smaller businesses in Indonesia could really use some help from the government, if possible, to help them set up their licensing, also to try and reduce the costs a little bit for them as well, because at the moment most of the smaller ones are having to borrow other people's licenses, and then because the jump is quite big from doing, I think if you're doing like 80 to 100 containers a year, most of them are still using other people's licenses, which to me seems crazy, because that's a lot of containers. Hopefully they could get some help with that, with the audit and all that. Not just financial help. I think some of them also struggle with the technical side of the setting up the license. Once it's set up, then I think it's quite straightforward. But getting there, I mean, for us, it's been several years process. It's not been an easy process. So I think there could be some help with that if possible from the Indonesian government, maybe. Going on to shipping rates, that's obviously a strong problem at the moment. I mean, at the moment, we're paying anything from $18,000 to $20,000 per 40-foot container. Last year, that was only $2,000 up till September last year, and then it's risen steadily since then, up to $18,000 to $20,000 now. Which at the moment, I've carried on shipping, which is a bit of a risk, but I've carried on shipping to keep the flow of stock coming in, to keep the warehouse busy in Indonesia, so that we don't lose the employees, to keep the suppliers busy in Indonesia, so that we don't lose the suppliers. Because otherwise, if we stop shipping, we will lose all of those. Yeah, from previous experience, once you stop the ball rolling, the suppliers then go off to find other contracts and other people. You lose good employees, which means you then have to retrain employees. It's just the knock-on effect of stopping shipping is not just not stock coming in. There's lots of other issues. So hopefully, I'm just hoping that the shipping rates are going to come down, but I can't see that happening just yet. I'm hoping very soon, but at the moment, it's not looking like it at the moment.
Thanks so much, Dan. I'm looking now at my screen. Bu Astrid from Yogyakarta, who is the manager of Java Classic. Are you there with us, Bu Astrid? Bu Astrid, are you there? If not, then I would like to go. Are you there, Bu Astrid? Then I'd like to go to Pak Haris. Pak Haris from Jepara. We spoke earlier, Pak Haris. What are your views, Pak, on the katakanlah masalah kunci yang dihadapi kalau kita mau ekspor lebih banyak? Pak Haris, are you there with us? Pak Haris is also maybe absent for the moment. Then let's go to Pak Richard de Vettes, who is maybe at the moment in Ambon or maybe in the Netherlands. You sent an interesting question, Pak Richard. Could you maybe repeat it, Pak Richard?
Yes, thank you. I'm working from Indonesia for several years, also researching the export possibilities for small and medium enterprises. But in my case, it is special for spices, herbs, and jamus, etc. But about the transportation cost and the cost of certification, by coincidence, last week we had a meeting about blockchain technology, IT technology, to make it possible for small and medium enterprises or local fishermen in Maluku to set up a company together. And I was thinking, isn't it possible that smaller importers or exporters can combine their activities in some kind of an organization, that organization will be handle the certifications and the cost, or we can rent a container with several exporters, so we can reduce the costs. And I was also thinking, because about the container prices by ship, that it's about 10 times, is the Silk Road train from China to the Netherlands or Rotterdam, cannot that be an option or an alternative for container transportation? It only takes 2 weeks. And especially it was very interesting that I heard from Mr. Pos that he developed a smaller kind of packaging. And we were just thinking about something like that. That is more for the new port of Maluku, what will come in the future, that there will be containers, and the containers had to be transported throughout the archipelago, in smaller quantities. And we were thinking about using sailing ships or developing sailing ships for the inter-island transportation. But then we need smaller packaging, because a container of 20 foot is not possible on a sailing ship or a peninsula or whatsoever. So there are a lot of things possible, but they're just suggestions. I don't know if it is feasible, but it could help in reducing the costs we are now facing. And actually, that is my suggestion. Thank you
very much, Richard. But Daniel, can I ask you, what do you think about combining that small entrepreneurs would combine transport, and would indeed, have you ever thought about this train option via the Silk Road? Dan.
Sorry, for me, that wouldn't, that I don't think the option would work because of the volume and the size of the products. But yeah, for smaller products, yeah, that could be feasible. But I don't think that really would work too well for the furniture industry.
Okay, thanks. Egbert, any reaction on this?
No. What was the question again?
The question is, are there options for small entrepreneurs to combine and do, let's say, send out a joint container together? Does that happen already? Or is it difficult?
Yeah, for sure it happens. But then you're still stuck with your paperwork. Because, well, you need your own BL, and you know, there's also cost in the BL involved. So, you know, in the end, it doesn't really make a difference, because there's a part of the bureaucracy makes things expensive.
That's an important remark. So the paperwork remains the same even if you combine your export with the others. So I just quickly look at Bu Astri from Java Classic. Are you now with us, Bu Astri?
Yeah, Java Mobile.
Oh, no, sorry. There are two Astrid. There's one Astrid.
Oh, not me.
No, you can go ahead, please.
Hello, sorry. Maybe my staff will explain about the Java Classic, Pak Henry.
Ya, silakan pakai bahasa atau
Oke.
ya.
Oke.
Mana start? Ibu sendiri?
Mbak Tiara? Wait, Pak
Okay,
Henry,
well,
ya.
hello, Mr. Henry.
Hello.
Thank you
good
so much
afternoon.
for the chance to speak. We are from Jawa Classic. So indeed, for this current pandemic, it really affecting our business, especially us as an exporters. And with this Zoom meeting and this webinar, we really hope that we can get a partnership or any kind of collaboration with buyers.
Thank you. What can you tell us a little bit about your exports at the moment? How many containers to which country?
Okay.
What are the issues that you're facing?
So we are from Jawa Classic. We are working as an exporter in furniture and mebel, especially in antique wood furniture. But we also make some custom based on what the customer ask and request. And the difficulties that we are facing is, of course, about the order and request that has been made to us, because it's really decreasing due to this pandemic. And since the business during this lockdown in Indonesia, it really affecting us because we cannot open our shop, and mostly we are working from online. So this webinar and this kind of meeting is really helpful for us.
Okay, thank you very much, Bu Tiara. I would now like to ask another question to our 4 panelists, and which is, well, we are now here together with a number of representatives from the National Planning Agency, Papanas, the Ministry of Industry, the Ministry of Trade, the Ministry for Cooperatives and Small Enterprises, the Ministry for Tourism. What would be your message to the ministries? How can they support you? May I start with Carl? What would be your message, Carl?
Hello, sorry. I mean, any support with the shipping costs really, I think would be a big help. At the minute, like I said earlier, it's the cost of it's just ridiculous. And like Dan said earlier, it's keeping the factories in flow, keeping the staff working, keeping our staff at this end obviously busy. You know, we've got staff to support the containers that are coming in. That's really what I'd say. We could help the factories possibly somehow, but I don't know. It's just the shipping costs at the minute I'm really worried about, to the point, you know, it's a few more months and then I think we've got big problems if it stays at this rate. So that possibly help with some sort of costs, or I'm not too sure. I'm surprised the Chinese haven't been building containers for fun at the minute, but it's just the problem doesn't seem to be coming down. It's going the other way. So yeah, that's just the biggest problem. If it could be helped in any way, obviously with the shipping, then that would be great. But I can't see it happening if I'm being openly honest.
Okay, thank you very much, Egbert. What could the government do to make your life easier?
Well, I'm not sure if they can do anything about the container prices, but for sure bureaucracy is kind of difficult around here. Yes, they could be a little bit more open and a little bit more helpful. I don't have too much problems with it because, like, you know, I'm settled for a long time already. So, well, for sure you have to extend your licenses, but for sure the industry is suffering under transport prices. That's our main problem. And again, I think bigger companies already made their contracts for the year, so they're suffering less than the smaller ones.
So for example, your company has long-term contracts with suppliers of containers, correct?
No, I'm much too small for that. But my big customers, I assume they did, because they put their prices in the contract for a year. So I assume big companies are less suffering than small companies.
Okay. Thanks very much. Bu Astrid or Pak Taufik, what can we already gave a few suggestions about the issues you're facing with certification. Is there anything else that you think that the government might do to support your business?
I'm still talking.
Yes. In the first 3 years, that's number one. But it's very sad to notice that if you have not been active for a year, that immediately they block you. They just block you without any kind of notification. And you only discover that when you offer your products for transport. That's when Cargo in Semarang says, hey, you don't have a NIP. And then panic breaks loose, of course. And as I already said, it takes 5 weeks. And there's not a single telephone number that you can use. You cannot reply to emails. There's nothing that you can do. And then you get in reach with that one system, or OSS, right? One single system. They cannot help you, but then they say there's some sort of bug in their software.
And that caused a delay. Then what could the government do to make your life easier?
I mean, really, just sort of to reiterate what I was saying earlier, maybe some help, technical help with the audit side of the FLEGT, the V legal, maybe some financial help to get some of the smaller businesses set up with it, or cutting the amounts down, the amounts of containers that you have to do a year to have your own license, to make it feasible to have your own license. That would be helpful. I mean, I don't think, regarding the shipping side of it, I'm not too sure that that's really sort of is going to be affected too much that could be helped much by the Indonesian government, to be honest with you. It's big business, isn't it? It's big corporate businesses that are making a lot of money at the moment, and I don't think they're really listening to any government at the moment. Let's hope that changes. Let's hope that does change. But yeah, I don't think so at the moment.
Okay, thanks very much. So I noticed that so far we have one moment before. I was looking for someone who is one of the co-leaders of the government of Indonesia's major effort to streamline support to small enterprises. It's Pak Ari. Pak Ari and Nindya. I understand from my colleagues that you are joining us. Pak Ari, can I invite you? Pak Ari, kalau mau bicara bahasa atau Inggris, silakan Pak Ari. Di mana? Bisa? No, he's not picking up yet. Pak Ari? Okay. Let's now move. We're almost reaching the end of our meeting. We have been doing...
Pak Henry?
Ya, silakan Pak Ari. Silakan Pak Ari.
Rizalu.
Yeah, I know your name by now.
So probably the Indonesian SMEs would like to have some kind of further information, especially from the UK's buyers, which is Dan and also Carl. It's regarding what kind of furnitures does the UK's buyers is looking for. I mean, is there any specific design or, I mean, it's going to be useful for the Indonesian SMEs, so they can adapt, or they can have the proper informations about the specific requirement from the UK's consumers in regard the furnitures.
Pak Sabat, are you still with us? What do you think, Pak Sabat, on some of the issues that were identified, like certification? How can you support the business sector?
Thank you, Pak Henry. About certification, actually, I met with some Indonesian importers, big importers, Dutch importers that find it very useful, this kind of certification. Basically, SPLK is for wood legality, right? And it complies to EU FLEGT. The thing that I understand from the Dutch importers that if they have SPLK, they do not have to get the due diligence. And if they have SPLK through the Dutch customs, they can get through the green lane in the customs, and they do not have to get the due diligence. So basically, the SPLK is easing the Dutch importer of importing wood from Indonesia. That's what I received from the Dutch importers. About the costs, yeah, of course, some certification need to have a cost, and maybe, I don't know, but the Indonesian ministries, they have some programs helping for the smaller exporters to get the SPLK.
Thank you, Pak Sabat. The hand has been raised by Pak Surya Jaya. You raise your hand. Please, silakan.
Yes, thank you, Pak Henry Sandi. Yeah, how are you, everyone? Yeah, in fact, I would like to discuss with Mr. Daniel from Makassi Import. Hello, Mr. Daniel.
Hello. Hi.
Hi. In fact, yeah, as some of offering product to you about 2 years ago, and you informed that you're looking for the root furniture, and then I already replied with my catalogs and website that contain with our product that is root furniture, but until right now we don't get yet your response. So this in the Zoom, I'm very glad and thankful to Allah that I can meet you here.
Okay, yeah, thank you. To be honest with you, the last 2 years, well, since COVID, there's been many changes, hasn't there? So we haven't introduced many new suppliers in the last 2 years because of what's happened, because I can't travel to Indonesia. So unfortunately, at the moment, we're not looking for new suppliers at the moment. But as soon as I can come back out to Indonesia, because I like to come out at least twice a year, then we can, yeah, we'll definitely meet up, maybe at the exhibition.
Yeah, in fact, I thought it's very hard to do the exhibition in Indonesia right now because the pandemic. Yeah, the last exhibition that canceled, that is FX. In fact, I joined already that exhibition, and also the exhibition that would be held in Brazil on September also postponed also. So I'm not sure if we can meet in the exhibition. So that's why I inform you that it's I thank God that I can meet you here. So I would like to continue our discussion about the product that you need, and then perhaps I can get your WhatsApp number or email address. So I would like to send you the company profiles for more.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Pak Surya. Pak Haris, I understand you raise your hand too, and you're now with us again. Pak Haris, silakan. If I don't get Pak Haris, I understand that, like, I'm looking at my screen that there are 143 participants. I understand that one or two have raised your hand. I cannot easily see it, but if you do want to ask a question, please just unmute yourself and go ahead, because I'm not sure whether I can see any raised hands. Can you please go ahead? If not, then I think gradually should wrap things up. There's a raised hand by Pak Haris. Pak Haris, are you now with us? Pak Haris, if you're there, silakan unmute. The representative of Art Classic International is raising the hand. If you're there, Art Classic International, silakan.
Pak Henry?
Yeah, silakan. Yeah.
If I can add another information, because mainly the main problem during this COVID-19 is there is no exhibition allowed, either it's in Indonesia or in the Netherlands. But in October, there will be a trade exhibition in Indonesia, but everything will be done virtually. So maybe for importers from the UK or the Netherlands, they can join this trade exhibition, Trade Expo Indonesia.
Yeah, good idea. I would like to come back to that issue in a moment. Dari Art Classic International, ada pertanyaan? Silakan.
Okay.
Bisa switch on camera.
My name is Sutrisno Triwidodo.
Pak Sutrisno, can you switch on your camera, please? Nah, bagus. Silakan.
My name is Sutrisno Triwidodo from Art Classic International. In year 2020, I have exhibition in Ambiente. But today, from 2020 until now, is pandemic COVID. We have problem with buyer some pending for the order because rate of the shipping company very high. And but no, I have some order from Germany and then Netherlands. Is it possible for me to make expansion market in Europe? Because no, we also postpone. I have inviting by fine partnership Finlandia for Habitare exhibition, but no postpone.
Right.
Until 2022. Is it possible if I send you a catalog and then if in Ambiente 2022, is it possible to meet with you? Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's a good business invitation. I hope that you can both get in touch with each other. I understand there are one or two who have raised their hand, but I cannot see it easily. If that's the case, just unmute yourself and go ahead. If not, then I would greatly like to wrap up this meeting. Ibu Mariska, I understand you're still with us, Ibu Mariska? Ibu Marika, are you still with us, Ibu Marika? Just maybe I then can invite Mark, the Arise Plus team leader. Mark, would you now at the closing remarks stage? Mark, would you like to?
Yeah, sure. Henry, thank you for giving me the floor. And this meeting today is the first that we will be hosting during the year. We will host, together with Bapanas, organize several other meetings for other clusters, including Nilam, including biopharma, coconut. So we hope that this format help the small and medium enterprises in many in other areas as well. So we hope that this information, the information you have gathered today from the different speakers will be very helpful. So we will organize the dissemination of this meeting today through the production of small short videos. And we hope that we're looking forward to continue the dialogue that we have started. It's very important, the message that we get is that there can be a lot of improvement if the export facilities extended to SMEs can be improved. We're talking about export permit, we're talking about certification, and unfortunately on the logistics cost, it's something that it's controlled by the market. So, but perhaps with better organization, and we see some hopes in the possibility of reducing the volume. So, Mr. Egbert, we are very happy that you shared this information, and if it can be disseminated, we are very happy to help to share this information with the SMEs. So, Baghdadin, thank you for organizing this meeting to give SMEs and to give ourselves an opportunity to extend the support from Arise Plus Indonesia. Perhaps you may know, as Ibu Marika said at the beginning, our project is here for another 3 years to support the Indonesian operators, mainly SMEs, through different in different areas. We have, for example, developed a training on the certification for SVLK. So we will keep supporting the different government departments, agencies, and so that they themselves can extend services to SMEs. So thank you very much to all, and thank you especially Henry for organizing all this and for your patience. We've been working a lot on this activity, and now I'm very happy to see the first meeting launched today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Pak Dading, are you still with us, Pak Dading? Pak Dading masih bergabung ya?
Iya. Yes.
Silakan Pak. Sudah hampir selesai Pak.
Baik. Baik, terima kasih banyak Pak Henry, Pak Mark, dan juga tadi para buyer dari Eropa. Saya mengucapkan banyak terima kasih ya sudah memberikan informasi yang sangat berharga nih untuk UMKM. Kemudian juga tadi Pak Sabat ya dan Pak Rizal ya, Pak Rizalu, baik. Terima kasih sudah memberikan informasi yang baik. Ini juga bagian dari perhatian pemerintah mengenai sertifikat tadi yang menjadi hambatan di dalam ekspor. Dan saya melihat dari sisi kualitas produk berarti saya yakin ini sudah bisa diterima oleh pasar di Eropa. Yang jadi masalah kan tadi lebih kepada logistik, delivery-nya, prosedurnya lebih ke arah sana. Jadi ini sebenarnya tugas pemerintah ya, jadi tugas kami untuk nanti menjadi perhatian untuk memberikan kemudahan lah ya, kemudahan minimal kalau misalnya tadi harganya tidak diturunkan, tetapi lebih kepada kemudahan untuk logistik misalnya, kemudian juga perizinan ya, tadi lebih kepada prosedur ekspor ini kelihatannya. Jadi ini tugas pemerintah saya yakin yang harus kita jalankan. Kemudian juga yang terpenting saya melihat ini sudah terjalin hubungan tadi dari UMKM-nya sudah mempunyai keterbukaan dan juga dari bayarnya untuk siap bekerja sama menjalin hubungan baru, itu yang sangat penting karena nanti bisa membuka pasar yang baru. Tadi juga dari art klasik internasional ya, tadi ada permasalahan dari ekspornya yang terhambat ya. Mudah-mudahan nih peluang pasar di Eropa nih bisa dimanfaatkan untuk art klasik internasional ini ya. Jadi seperti itu. Mudah-mudahan juga nanti yang lainnya yang tidak langsung berpartisipasi di sini bisa kontak nih Pak Henry ya dengan para buyer ya.
Siap.
Jadi ada, kalau boleh nanti diberikan kontak personnya dari para buyer di Eropa, kemudian dibukalah ke UMKM yang hadir ya, nanti di absen kan ada tuh alamat email ya, nanti mohon bisa disampaikan kontak person dari para buyer ini ke para peserta yang hadir mungkin untuk nanti komunikasi lebih lanjut. Saya kira itu. Terima kasih banyak kepada Pak Mark, Pak Henry, para narasumber, kemudian Ibu Maria tadi masih ada nih, Ibu Marika ya masih.
Baru saja keluar ya.
Thank you, still here. Terima kasih banyak kepada semuanya. Saya kembalikan ke Pak Henry.
Baik, mungkin
Pak Dading boleh menambahkan?
Ya, silakan.
Terima kasih Pak Henry. Pak Dading, saya dari Kementerian Perekonomian. Mohon maaf, saya mewakili Pak Asdep karena Pak Barangan hadir. Saya Ano. Dari berbagai permasalahan yang kita dengar tadi Pak Dading dan Pak Henry, bahwa pemerintah pusat telah memangkas beberapa kebijakan untuk bagaimana mendukung UMKM ini. Seperti salah satunya Undang-Undang Cipta Kerja yang diturunkan kepada PP nomor 7 tahun 2001, di mana di situ judulnya ada kemudahan pemberdayaan UMKM, kemudahan pemberdayaan dan dukungan kepada UKM. Ini PP-nya sudah ditandatangani 2021. Tetapi ini implementasi hanya di pusat saja. Sementara di daerah masih belum terimplementasikan. Yang dikatakan tadi mengenai OSS tadi, Bapak, bahwa itu juga selama ini OSS masih tetap terus merubah, memperbaiki sistemnya. Jadi pemerintah tidak diam juga bahwa itu PP nomor 7 tahun 2001 itu sangat pro dan mendukung sekali. Bahkan itu kan perintah dari Pak Presiden juga. Bagaimana UMKM itu dimudahkan, didukung, dan diberdayakan. Nah ini tinggal bagaimana tugas kami juga Pak Dading, mungkin bagaimana tadi perizinan itu semua udah dimudahkan. Tetapi implementasi di lapangan ini yang perlu kita monitoring Pak Dading. Mungkin itu aja Pak Henry.
Baik, terima kasih banyak Pak Yohana. Makasih banyak Pak Yohana.
Terima kasih Pak Ano ya.
Baik. Pak Ari dari Kemenekop, dari Masterplan tadi sudah hadir, kalau tidak Pak Ari.
Ya, Pak Henry.
Bisa switch on kameranya Pak? Ya, waduh, bagus juga.
Baik, mohon maaf Pak Henry. Tadi mungkin karena ada 2 Zoom jadi.
Pasti.
Tadi menyimak apa yang disampaikan tadi, memang beberapa seperti SPLK, saya kira ada kementerian yang mungkin bisa memfasilitasi ya, seperti KLHK itu mungkin bisa, kemudian juga teman-teman atase mungkin tadi Pak Rizalu dan Pak satu lagi tadi mungkin untuk jadi sebagai market intelligence gitu ya, membantu kira-kira produk-produk apa teman-teman pelaku UKM yang dibutuhkan di sana. Nah ini sebagai informasi yang sangat berharga gitu Pak Henry.
Ya.
Saya kira itu nanti teman-teman sudah banyak pelaku UMKM yang memang mereka melakukan ekspor gitu ya, dan juga sudah banyak produk-produk mereka ada di berbagai negara, baik di Amerika Serikat maupun di Eropa. Jadi ya ini satu pertemuan yang sangat bagus saya kira sebagai informasi, dan juga nanti bisa ditindaklanjuti oleh teman-teman untuk menjadikan informasi kira-kira produk-produk seperti apa yang mungkin ada desain-desain baru ataupun apa gitu di luar yang sudah rutin gitu Pak Henry. Saya kira terima kasih Pak Henry, itu sangat bagus pertemuan pada siang hari ini. Pak Dading juga terima kasih.
Pak Ari. Saya want to stick to the time. There are a few questions coming in, but I think it's best that we stop now. We all know how to contact each other. I would like to thank very much Bu Siti, Bu Maya of the Rise Plus team, Bu Eli, Mas Gevi, and Pak Hari of the Papanas team. Thank you very much for making this a very nice joint teamwork, and we had a few interesting meetings in the past few days, and I think we have been able to work together nicely, and I hope that we can continue working together during the upcoming webinars. Finally, I would like to thank Dan, Astrid, Taufik, Carl, and Egbert. Thank you for joining us today. We learned a lot from you, and we do hope that we can continue remaining in touch. Terima kasih banyak untuk kehadirannya dan berpartisipasi, dan sampai jumpa lagi. Terima kasih.
Ya, terima kasih.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you Pak Henry. Thank you everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Terima kasih.
Thank you Pak Henry.
Terima kasih. Thank you for everyone.
Terima kasih.